So this video is basically my testimony on cussing. And I was supposed to been done this video, but I just felt like it was a small thing. But after the Holy Spirit and, tugged on me and explained everything, like, those small testimonies are the testimonies that, people still need to hear. And so, like, never hold back your small testimonies, because people still need to hear those. In spite of how you feel about them, like, they are struggling with some of the smallest things. And it might be a small battle to you that you overcame, but it could be like somebody's real deal wrestling with it. So, here is how and why and how I got delivered from cussing. So, growing up, we're around it all the time. Family members cuss, grown-ups cuss, you're just not allowed to say it as a kid. You can hear it, but you can't say it. So I didn't start cussing till like middle school. That was peer pressure. Because in my mind, like, I felt like my parents had superpowers where even if I thought of the cuss word, I could be in trouble. Like, if they like, I read your mind, you was cussing, like, come on, you in trouble. Like that. So for a while, I thought they could read minds. But when I found out that wasn't true. I was in middle school, and I was like peer pressure into cussing. So I started cussing. And oh boy, did I perfect that gift. It was just over with. Once I found out my parents couldn't read my mind, and I just, like, long as I didn't cuss in front of them. That was my rule. Like, once I was like, I'm cussing, that was my 2 rules. Never cuss in front of your parents. That was my rule. Not my daddy. No way. You don't cuss in front of your parents, and don't cuss around people who know your parents, because you don't want that getting back to them. Talking about, I heard your daughter out there cussing out some people. So those are my rules on cussing. Don't cuss out. Don't cuss in front of your parents. Don't ever let them find out you cuss. Like, you are a sweet, innocent girl, okay? Special. So, I was just, cussing, perfecting the gift, okay? So, this is about, like, college. So, middle school, high school, summer college. Now, college did not go the way I had planned it to go. Only thing that happened in college that was planned was graduation. I was not planning on meeting God. I raised in the church, everything. No. But as far as me and God getting on a close relationship, no, that was supposed to happen later on in life. Like, I was supposed to be living it up until, my deathbed. I had even my death planned out. Like, I'm just gonna live it up, whatever, and I'm just gonna die on the deathbed, and then that's when I get my life right. No. God said, I'm meeting you in college. Yeah. Yep. I'm meeting you in college. So, anyway, long story short, I had a car wreck. My first semester in college, I had a car wreck. Totaled out my car. And that was like the door opener to, like, me chasing after God. Like, that was like a spiritual awakening for me. And so, but I was still cussing. Like, I was getting to know God, but I was still cussing. And, just still trying to figure out everything. This new life stuff. But the Spirit, I was getting to know the Holy Spirit and what it means to being convicted. Like, when you about to do something and something just tugs on you not to do it. So, like, I would still be texting or, talking, cussing, text cuss words, talking cuss words, whatever. But it would be like, how the devil on one shoulder, angel on the other shoulder. And I'll be like about to text, and I'll be thinking about what I'm finna text, and I'll, type the cuss word out. And as I'm typing the cuss word out, the angel, the good shoulder, be like, nah, you can say other words other than that. And this shoulder would be like, no, let them have it. Because, like, for me, cussing took things to another level. Like, a joke could be funny, But when you add cuss words, it's hilarious. When you mad, you know, you can express yourself without cussing that you mad. But when you cuss, that lets them know, like, oh, she mad, like angry. You know, people like you, but when you cuss, they put more respect on you. That's how I felt about it. So, like, nah, like, I understand what you saying, but they need to know, you know. So, you just going somewhere. Tell me what to say, you know. So, I just went with it. One day, I came home from college. Now, this is a couple years after I got saved, because I was, like, saved, you know, still, God was still cleaning me up, and this part is like, okay, now it's time to clean up your mouth. Because, mind you, like, I'm going to different churches doing poetry at this time, you know. So, I remember walking down, wait, it didn't do it. Anyway, I was walking down the driveway, and I was just walking down the driveway. Mind you, I had been, like, you know, pushing the Holy Spirit side, like, nah, I'm finna cuss, you know. I know a whole bunch of people that be cussing. So I was walking down the driveway, and the Holy Spirit, you know, met me in the driveway. I was just going to check the mailbox. That's the only thing. But God talked to me walking down the driveway. And he says, would you ever cuss in front of your father, like my daddy? I said, no, I ain't finna cuss in front of my daddy. Like, would you ever cuss in the presence of your dad? I was like, no. It's like, why? I said, no, because I respect my daddy. Like, no, I don't ever want him to see me in that I don't ever want him to see me like that. And this way it came. He says, am I your father? And I was like, yeah. He says, am I more important than your earthly father? I said, oh. He says, aren't you always in the presence of me? And that was it. Like, when I realized, he said, I hear and see every conversation you have. Like, you respect your earthly father. And it just blew my mind. Like, that was all it took for me. Like, the fact that I'm falling in love with God, but I'm still I'm still cussing, you know. But I won't cuss in front of my dad. But here I am cussing in front of a holy God. Like you're always in the presence of me. You know, I hear every conversation you have. And so, like, that was it. That was all it took to start the deliverance process. So I was like, But the thing about it is, sometimes when you going through the first stage, it's hard because that's when you get the maddest. That's when people tick you off the worst. And you trying to, you know, be delivered because you done had this conversation with God. But the enemy is like, girl, nah. And so I was fighting. And I went back to school. Mind you, I'm in college. So around it, I'm around it all the time. Music, TV, everybody, friends, classmates, all that. And so I came up with, like, rules. Well, first, I was supposed to do the acronyms, you know, like break down each word, each cuss word, and try to make it my own thing. So I live out in the country. And I remember when I was young, I saw a blimp in the sky. And so, like, B-I-T, you know, C. But I was like, blimp in the sky. It didn't make sense, but it was like a start. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come back and work on that. So I was like, let me work on something easier. So then I started with the F word. And I was like, the only thing that can come to my mind for that word was my brother's favorite cereal at the time. That was Fruit Loops. And it was just like, I couldn't think of nothing else, so I was just stopped. And so, for me, I broke it down like into two things. For people, you was a blimp in the sky. For expressing myself, because, you know, you cuss people out and then you express yourself with cussing. Like, if you hurt yourself, you cuss. So, like, for expressions, it would be Fruit Loops. That was it. And I just used those two. It was hard. Like, you know, somebody tick you out, you just be like, Fruit Loops. Or you blimp in the sky. Like, it sounds stupid now, but that's what I had to help me. And that's what I used. Now, here's the thing. When I went to college, it was hard because, you know, I'm around it all the time, like I said. And so for me, like, if you was in my presence for like 45 minutes, like a class period, and you cussing and all that type of stuff, I ain't really say nothing to you because you're not going to be in my presence long. Like, I'm going to see you every other day, most likely. So, but like for friends and stuff, I would be like, you know, would y'all stop cussing in front of me? Please, just please don't cuss in front of me. And some people was like, but you was just cussing like last week. Now you trying to be all saved and stuff. And I'm like, you know, some people respect, some people don't. But, you know, you wasn't there in this driveway when God delivered me. Like, I'm struggling right now with this. But, you know, some people understood, some people didn't. And so sometimes I would just get up and walk away like, you know, this too much. Or I just try to distance myself from being around it a lot. But it was hard during that time. And I was just still being delivered from it. And I remember one day I was walking. I was walking to class or something. I was walking to class. And I just heard this girl on the phone. And from a distance, like, I just saw the phone up to her face. From a distance, like, she was, like, very beautiful young lady. But when I got close to her, like, she was mad and she was letting somebody have it. She was just, like, cussing. Like, I don't know who was on the other end of that phone. But she was, like, just cussing. And I was like, I didn't even see her, like. I saw me in that instant. And I asked the Lord, I was like, did I sound like that? It's like, yeah. You sounded just like that to me. And I was like, wow. And it was like not judging anybody or her. Like, it was just like God allowed me to see how I was in that moment. And I just immediately repented. I never want you to look at me like that. Like, I wouldn't want my own father to look at me like that, you know. And so that's what it was. Like that was the biggest thing. So a while back, probably like earlier this year, last year, like, it tried to come back. Like, you know, because people say, you know, hell ain't a cuss word. You know, you going to hell, you know, type stuff like that. Like, you using in their contents, yeah. I mean, not yeah, but you use it like that. But for me, you know, just saying it, you know, no. Because it contaminates my ministry. I know that for sure. Like, I'm a young minister, and there's no way I could be in the pulpit preaching, or me speaking life to people, and then you see me out in public just cussing. Like, that contaminates the ministry. And I never want to be a stumbling block for anybody that's, you know, struggling or, you know, walking this path. Like, I'm supposed to help you, not be a stumbling block for you. So, nah. But, like, earlier this year, like, or last year, like, I felt like it trying to come back, you know. And the Bible said once the spirit leaves, it will come back 7 times stronger. And so I felt like, you know, how, well, you could say, you know, hell like that. I'm like, nah. And I was contemplating it at first, but then I just felt like it was a setup for all the other words to just come back into my vocabulary. And I was like, nah, I can't do that. Nope, I ain't finna allow that word to come in there. Because I just know that's going to be bad. And me being who I am and just representing God. Like, I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to stay delivered from all the things that God has delivered me from. I'm trying to continue to heal from all the pain that I done went through already. And so, I mean, I done heard a lot of Christians, you know, still cuss, and, you know, God says this, and, I mean, not God says this, but, like, you're not, ain't nothing wrong with it, it's just word, but your words have power. And I know, like, you know, now you call your friends B's and H's, like, that's, I guess, positivity. But for me, like, there's so many other ways to you know, speak positive and call your friends friends other than those words. So, you know, for me, in my vocabulary, and I think any Christian, but you have to talk that up with God. Like, your spirit, if it convict you about it. So, like, that's my testimony on me cussing, being deliverance. Like, because I realize that I'm always in the presence of God. Like, it's not a big deal. It's really not a big deal for me anymore. But I know a lot of people are probably struggling with this, and I really hope this help you. I really hope it's powerful. Like, you know, being honest right now, I feel like it's just a small, you know, thing, small little testimony. But I really hope, you know, that little story, testimony of me cussing and how, you know, help somebody, you know, fight their fight, you know. So y'all be blessed, and I'll see you next time.